I mean, I guess Jeffrey Epstein is the natural go-to, but it's kind of boring. But it would help explain.
You think Jeffrey Epstein is boring?
It's the conventional answer, right? I'd be interested to interview George H.W. Bush, and I don't know if I could.
It is a big idea, a new world order.
And I don't know if I could pin down one question for him.
What would it be about? What would the subject be? Steve,
what's up?
Welcome back, dude.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for coming. But so we got this new thing since the last time you were here, and we call it the hot question.
Okay.
So here we go. You ready? If you could interview one historic figure connected to fraud, corruption, or organized crime, someone who would help explain why things feel out of control today, who would you pick, and what's the one question you would ask them?
I mean, I guess Jeffrey Epstein is the natural go-to, but it's kind of boring. But it would help explain.
You think Jeffrey Epstein is boring?
It's the conventional answer, right? It's the conventional answer. Because he seems to be behind so much of our politics, and he's so in the news. And I guess you would ask him, what foreign intelligence services were you working for? But maybe George H.W. Bush. I'd be interested to interview George H.W. Bush, and I don't know if I could pin down one question for him. But I think I would have some questions.
What would it be about? What would the subject be?
Well, I mean, the extent to which the CIA came to take over the executive branch rather than the executive branch running the CIA.
Good one. Good one.
Yeah, HW gets overlooked, I think.
Yeah. I would, I don't know who I would do. Me and Jeremy were doing this exercise earlier. The Sackler family.
Ooh.
That would be a good one. The Rothschilds.
Yeah,
that would be a good one. Dick Cheney. That would be a good one.
Those would all be good. I mean, Bill Clinton had his opportunity.
Bill Clinton?
He had his opportunity. He skipped it. He's not going to be held in contempt of Congress.
We're not living in a two-tier justice system, are we, Steve?
I don't even know if he has the cognitive wherewithal to actually answer these questions. Supposedly he's been on this vegan diet, but he looks like he's had his soul just sucked out of him. All the recent videos of him, he looks gaunt.
It is. It's a lot of politicians look like the soul has been sucked out of them, don't they?
Especially
I wonder what it is.
Especially the ones close
Maybe
to
it's
Epstein.
because their fucking soul has been sucked out of them. I don't know. I'm pretty fired up about all this shit, man.
Yeah.
I just can't think of really much of anything positive happening.
What we've seen of some of this, the way the Medicaid program is operating in Maine. Watching Nick Shirley's video. It's outrageous that all of these daycares are empty. Clearly, it's fraud. But can you imagine if they actually had kids in them? It'd almost be worse, right?
Actually, that's a good point. And they'd probably be trafficking the fucking kid. They probably are trafficking kids.
And what we have in Maine, as we'll get into, it's not exactly the Somalis, it's more Central Africans, is autism homes that actually do have adults in them.
Oh, boy. I know we got a lot of stuff to cover. I don't want to go into it in the hot question. I'll ask you another question, though. In regards to the Somali fraud, Minnesota, the shit you're seeing up in Maine, who would you want to talk to about that?
Oh, geez. It's so decentralized that there's not a lot of, it's not like there's a leadership. There's a central plan that the Somalis are all executing. Mm-hmm. I think if you could get Jacob Fry, take a truth serum and talk with him, that could be interesting. Mm-hmm. Ditto for Governor Mills. That could be interesting. I might go back to some of the mayors of Lewiston in the early 2000s when it was really starting, just to get their perspective.
That sounds like a total shit show there.
Yeah, because they were there. The conflict, the seeds of the conflict in Maine were sowed in the early 2000s when 300 or 400 Somalis arrived from 2000 to 2003, and there was a mayor.
How many? How many?
Like 300. So this was in 2000, year 2000. It's like 300 Somalis arrived. They came first to Atlanta, and then there was a secondary migration up to Portland. And then Portland didn't have the housing that Lewiston had. And so Portland pulled this great deal with Lewiston and said, hey, wouldn't you like, you guys have all kinds of housing and you're a declining mill town. We have a recipe to save Lewiston. Wouldn't you like to take some of these families in? And Lewiston said yes. And 300 turned into 1,000, which turned into 8,000, which turned into, we don't really know today, 15,000, 20,000. It's hard.
Yeah, there's really no way to know because they don't document any dead, right?
Well, that's an interesting question.
So, you know,
The immortal Somali.
I would want to talk to the governor or the president or somebody that has power to do something about this and just ask them, are you actually going to do something about this one? Or are we just going to read all the fucking headlines? And
Well, from what I gather, President Trump is going to do something about this. He triple tapped Maine and Minnesota this week with a set of policy prescriptions that I think are going to be earthquakes in the Somali community. Like the end of temporary protective status is massive.
Well,
These guys essentially had deportation protections because for 25 years our policy as the United States was, well, it's too messy back in Somalia. These guys can't be deported back to Somalia. That was our de facto policy. They had temporary protected status, just like Haiti, by the way. So President Trump has ended that now, or he's set the date in the future when it's going to end. I think that's going to be more impactful in Minnesota than it will be in Maine. We'll probably see probably an expansion of the number of Somalis coming from Minnesota to Maine, which we're already seeing. But it's going to finally treat them like any other diaspora or migrant group in the United States, where if you commit crimes, if you're caught committing fraud, you get deported, rather than just a slap on the wrist. But
it'll be interesting to see what all the new politicians in Maine that are Somalis, how they handle this policy prescription. Aren't there politicians up there that are Somali?
a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have Representative Decca DeLocke, came here in the 90s, and she was in Minnesota, came to Maine. She was the mayor of South Portland. She's currently a representative from South Portland, and she's on the Appropriations Committee, very close to Governor Mills. Representative Yusuf from Portland, not hugely significant in the legislature, but a reliable vote. Representative Mana Abdi, I was actually born in Kenya, but identifies as a Somali refugee. She's just declared that she's running for state senate.
Nice.
It's like,
Nice.
read the room.
Jeez.
But yeah, at the local level, there's also, we just had actually one resign in Lewiston, a Lewiston City councilor, Iman Osman. He is claimed to live at 210 Blake Street in Ward 5 in Lewiston, which is a condemned building owned by his brother, Rowan Osman. It has a fried chicken restaurant sign on it. In 2024, that location was the subject of a raid that resulted in the arrest of a Somali man for trafficking methamphetamine.
Jeez.
They found what a judge referred to as a mind-boggling amount of methamphetamine. And Iman Osman says he wasn't involved, but he just said that he lived at this condemned building that was deemed uninhabitable for human purposes. So he lied on his campaign forms, saying that he lived at this residence for the purpose of being able to run for the Somali City Council district in Lewiston. We reported on that, and eventually it snowballed. He got indicted by a grand jury for 2 gun theft charges while he's the incumbent, or I guess incoming city councilor for Ward 5 in Lewiston. He's facing 2 gun theft charges. And he has his court appearance the day after he's sworn in to the Lewiston City Council, lies on his bail documents, and again says that he lives at 210 Blake Street. Turns out that the police take that a little bit more seriously than just the political side, writing where your address is. And so they see him write the fake address on his bail documents and immediately issue a warrant to go find him.
Nice.
And I don't know that he's been found yet, but he has resigned. So there's an open seat on the Lewiston Ward 5 City Council. And to the best of our knowledge, there was a meeting at the one of the mosques in town. And they all got together to decide who they were going to put forward for the Ward 5 Somali seat on the Lewiston City Council.
Wow.
They take their political organizing a lot more seriously than Republicans do.
They're
At the local
smart.
level. Yeah.
They're smart. Well, you ready to get into the interview?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it. No matter where you're watching the Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this at all, anything, please like, comment, and subscribe. And most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, head to Apple Podcasts and Spotify and leave us a review.